Hi, my name is Susan, and it's a spring evening here in New Mexico. I want to show you how we adapted an old Duncan electric kiln to raku and to do a bisque in, hopefully. I haven't used this kiln for 10 years. Last time we used it, it was for raku, and we had a hard time keeping it hot. Since then, I've done a lot of research, and I wanted to show you the setup inside. You'll notice we used kiln cement to replace some of the bricks. Those 3 bricks down in the bottom, those are the hard kind of fire bricks. There's the port for the burner. We have a Venturi burner, which will probably be a little bit closer when we're firing. And I've got it hooked up to a propane tank. I have a new kiln shelf, so I'm going to put some kiln wash on it in just a sec. And then I'll show you how we're going to use these thin pieces of fire brick as baffles on top of the kiln shelf. Hi. So I have the baffles placed in the kiln, but I did want to give you a shot of who I am before we go on. So I'm not just a voice in the coming from nowhere. Okay, so here's the system. Like I say, those are thin slices of fire brick that we've put radiating out from a kiln shelf. You notice the kiln shelf's pretty small. The next one up was too close to the wall. I've never tried this before, but I wanted to make sure there was enough room around the kiln shelf to allow for a good mixture of propane and air. If you're watching this video, I hope it's because you have an understanding of the Western style of raku, or you're one of my friends. It's probably the only people who would be interested in this. Good morning. It's May 3rd. We're getting ready to light up the first bisque firing in this kiln. So here's how we have it loaded up with the little pieces of fire brick cut as flanges. I just want to take one last picture of these pieces because they might explode. I'm not sure. See the woman there with the heart? Yes, this one. I'm hoping she makes it through the fire. But sometimes you just have to give it up to the fire and see what happens. So it's about 7:15 and we're getting ready to light it. We're about 15 minutes into the firing. We had to shut it off because the temperature was going up too quickly. As you can see, you can't even hear that gas coming out. I've got it on the lowest amount possible. And over here is my new pyrometer, Mother's Day present. So you can see it's 140, which is, I'm hoping to keep it at 150 for a couple of hours while we candle it a little bit and drive out the moisture. And if I put my hand over the hole here, I can still feel the moisture being driven out. I've got it cracked, the top cracked also, so that the moisture can get out. So, like I say, I hope to leave it this way for a couple hours and then turn it up to about 200 maybe. So it's going to be a long day, and I'm nervous about if anything's going to explode in there. Okay, well, I've been firing for 2.5 hours, and we just shut the lid. So the temperature's 203. Still feels a little bit moist, not too bad. Because we're here in New Mexico and because these pieces have been dry a long time, I'm hoping when they hit 212 nothing's going to explode. So I'm not alone this morning. Pearl's here with me. Pearl's a sculpture I made out of found materials, reused materials. She's so serene, so peaceful. She's helping me feel better. Well, we've been out here about 7 hours, and I am so tired. I can't stand it. Temperature's 1442. I'm going to try to get it up to 1600. If you can see inside the kiln, try to get a shot. Good morning. It's the morning after the firing. We finally reached 1600 degrees yesterday about 3:15, and now it's about 7 o'clock the next morning. So we're getting ready to open up the kiln and see what happened. I think I heard at least one piece explode, and I think I know which one it was, but we'll see in a minute. Okay, so here's our first look inside the kiln, and I don't see anything that's broken yet, but we're going to unload everything in just a sec. There you can see the baffles that we used too, so I'm anxious to see if any of the pieces look like they got too hot by any of the flames, but everything looks pretty good. Here's the bottom shelf, and nothing exploded, so I was probably just paranoid and thought I heard a thump. One more shot of the baffle system that we set up, and it doesn't look like any of the wear was getting too much flame, so pretty excited about that. We're going to try a raku firing in a couple of days with the pieces we just unloaded, and we're going to use the same baffle system to split the fire, and hopefully it'll be great.